Hey everybody, and welcome to the week 6 coaching call. I can't believe we're already at week 6 as usual. Well, as usual since week 3, I think. I've got Dan with me, my good friend and fellow co-creator. So he's going to be jumping in shortly. But to get things rolling, I'm going to enable questions. So just to do a quick check that you can see and hear me okay, what I want you to do is type into the comments, what is my why? So I've said it plenty of times. So just type in the one word that best describes what my why is, because obviously we're doing the prize draw later, so it links in quite nicely. And I should enable live updates so I can actually see when you start posting your question answers. So we'll count down 3, 2, 1. Please be a comment. Travel, yes. Boyard Dengels or Boyard Engels. One of these days I'll figure out how to do this. Hawes, family. Nope, that was Mike. Good one. I've got an excellent answer here. Marty says, moving to Lithuania. I'm going to take a wild guess that you live in Lithuania. To travel, that's from Mayal. Milan Luci, traveling. Yep, it's travel. So yeah, it's all about travel for me, or it was. One of these days I might actually tell you what my why has changed to. And just to remind everyone, we've got the mentors in the background. They'll be answering your questions. Well, we've got the mentors except Steve, because obviously feeding himself is far more important than these calls. So he just messaged us saying, can you wait 5 minutes? I'm finishing my dinner. So I'm just waiting for him to respond to that. He's not going to respond to that. Okay, so let's get started. So what do I want to talk about? So first of all, we're going to be answering any questions from the welcome module all the way through to module 6. Obviously, we've got people on that aren't ASM11 that have been around a bit longer, that they're jumping into 5 and 6 because they've already got their product. You know, we're not expecting a lot of ASM11 members to have their product live yet, but there are a couple, and congratulations to you guys. But yeah, so what I want to do is, and I keep forgetting to do this every week, and I just want to call out some badges, because we should do this. You know, the badges are really important. It's really important for you guys to actually, the minute you get or earn a badge, to go and claim it. And also go into the badge accomplishments area and post in there too. Because again, similar to the why, it's a great motivational thing. And you may not realize it when you do it. You know, you may, well, I'm just submitting a badge, wow. But it is, you know, when you go back and when you log in and you see your profile and you see your badges, it will encourage you. It will encourage you to keep moving forward. And you'll have other members congratulate you and stuff like that. And it all helps. So this week, I just wanted to shout out a bunch of people. Now, obviously, these people are probably ASM7 all the way through to 11. So do bear that in mind. But we'll look at the revenue badges. So we've got Polly Leam. We've got a 5K badge. Awesome job. Eskiyeda 191, 2K badge. Awesome. Pony Eforo, 10K badge. Dinya, I know Dinya, I've actually met her, awesome person. 5K monthly. Chris Schreiber's got his 25K, that's absolutely awesome. Cyberdyne, that sounds like something out of Terminator movie. 10K monthly revenue badge. Why? I think we're gonna have to force people to like choose names like Joe. Piotra Ikota 7, 5K, awesome job. And there's actually one more I'm going to pick out. Oh, look, Barbara, I missed that one. Barbara Carmichael, 25K badge, awesome job. There's one I do want to point out here. Ben and Charity, we know them really well. They've worked with us quite a lot. They've got their 100K. And where is it? There it is. So Yanning Lee. So Dan and I actually met Yanning, must be 6 months ago. We had a meetup in London, and she turned up. Now she joined, I think she joined about 10 months ago now, but she was just starting to get her product live, I believe, from what I remember, or it had just gone live 6 months ago. So I guess like March, it was March or April we did it. But she got a 100K badge. And that's like, when I saw this, I was absolutely blown away, because it's all about taking action. That's the first thing Dan, because obviously Dan remembered it even better than I did. And he goes, they took action, you know, they took action, they're real action takers. And that's such a huge part of this business. You know, it is like literally pulling the trigger and doing stuff. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that later. But I just wanted to call her out specifically. And I think we're actually going to get to see them this weekend as well. I'm actually going to pick out the most difficult names to pronounce. Svetoslav Somov. Please do tell me if I got anywhere close to that. 25K badge. But let's just jump down now and look at some of the other badges. Anthony Ferdy got their online professional badge. Awesome job. April Motzinger found supplier badge. That's fantastic. Kate Keeling received samples badge. Awesome job. I'm just trying to, Zebanera is in my white badge. That's fantastic. I'm just trying to grab some different ones here. Oh, we've been running tests because I see a lot of bet on yourself badges. Need to get those removed. And just one more, Melina 73, the brand website badge. So I just want to call that out, and we'll do that every time, every week we have one of these calls. And we're at week 6 now, and I just want to reinforce. So we've got 7 and 8. We've got 2 more weekly calls to come, but it doesn't stop there. After that, we'll be doing at least 1 monthly call every month too. So we're not going away, just like the training and everything else. We're going to be around for a while. And I think that's all I want to talk about right now. Oh, just one other thing. Module 7 is opening tomorrow. Can't believe we're at module 7. But that's it. So Dan, I know you've got a couple of things you want to talk about.
Yeah, sure. So this week, module 6 released. And whether you're there yet, if you're ASM11, you're probably not there yet, but maybe you've gone through the training. Or if you're a previous ASM member from any of the previous weeks and you're looking at the updated training that we've put out, I just want to talk about sort of the fundamentals of what launching is, because having been around this industry, 3, 4, 5 years now, from really early on, sort of when everyone started coming in, and been in internet marketing for, as long as I can remember, to be honest. I really started getting going when I was about 13 with SEO. One thing always remains true, and one thing is always constant, and that is the fundamentals. Like, no matter what industry we're in, whether we're selling on Amazon, we're building out some Shopify store, doing anything else, the fundamentals are always the base of everything we do. And more recently, I see, especially newer sellers coming through, get so caught up in the detail of how do I launch? What's the exact step I need to take? What's the latest new link I can use to rank my product? What's the latest best way of getting orders to rank my product? But it always comes back to the fundamentals. And within ASM11, we've really strived to teach the exact step-by-step whilst teaching you the fundamental approach so that you understand why you're taking that step. So rather than just giving you a fish, so to speak, as the analogy goes, we really, really want to, moving forward, and help you understand why you're doing that and teach you how to fish. So Amazon is constantly changing. We know this. We know there's constantly TOS updates. They're constantly tightening the screw on what we can and can't do in our marketing activity, how we can contact customers, the guidelines around what we're allowed to do there. Amazon very much considers an Amazon customer to be their customer, not the customer of our brands. And they're constantly tightening the screw. But the fundamentals always comes back to the same steps. So step 1, we always need to meet the tide where it's at. If we're going into a market targeting a specific keyword, then we have to meet the tide, the sea level of sales of our competitors who are also ranking for that keyword to be considered. We know that new products get a period of time where they're favored. And my theory behind that is they don't have the sales history data yet for Amazon's A9 algorithm to make any prediction on whether the shopper is going to like that product or buy it. So you have that grace period where they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, let your product rise to the top much more easier than it would if it's been established some time, because it doesn't have any data to make that assumption on. So it's starting fresh, which is this sort of honeymoon period, as we talk about in the industry. And no one really knows how long it is. It's different, we find, in different markets. But we know that new products have that. We know that full price purchases are always going to be more impactful than any sort of discounted order, however you decide to discount it, whether it's promotion codes, social media promo codes, etc. We know that natural full price purchases are always going to have more impact. We know that a shopper completing a search, find, buy is always going to be more impactful than any special link that someone finds or some sort of generated URL that we can take someone to our store with. We know that organic search, find, buys are also always going to be the most impactful. within the data, as I really try to stress within module 6, as you'll find, if you haven't been through it yet, this will make a lot more sense when you do sort of start going through that level of the training. The data will always inform the decision you need to make. Like, running through that data, analyzing that data, and using that data to inform your decisions is always going to give you the answer. So your job as the leader of your business and the leader of your brand is to understand how to interpret the data, and everything starts with that. So am I getting enough sessions, as in traffic? Is my conversion rate good enough? Is my click-through rate acceptable on my target terms within my pay-per-click campaigns? If it's not, maybe I'm not relevant for that term in terms of the shopper's mind, like the intent behind their buy. And being able to analyze the data and sort of come up with the answers to the picture, essentially the painting that you're seeing in your data, is a very powerful thing. When it comes to advertising, we know that advertising is the fastest way to gain visibility for target keywords. And within that, PPC contribution, or total ACOS, gives you that sanity on understanding the overall position of the business, not just ACOS as a picture of PPC sales. And finally, we know that building your own audience is the most powerful way to future-proof your brand and business and set you up for success in the future. And the way that Amazon's going with tightening the screw on sort of reaching out and contacting customers, following up via email, that new review button that showed up on orders now, this is more critical now than it's ever been. And yes, there are changes coming to ManyChat, and that's all covered in module 7, which is releasing tomorrow. But it just means we have to adapt in our marketing strategy. And the final sort of fundamental, especially more as we move into the future of Amazon, is conversion is always going to win. Conversion's king. Everyone focuses on traffic, but conversion ultimately drives the Amazon flywheel, as I refer to it on Amazon. We know we have to be specific in who we're selling to. We have to be specific in the keywords we're targeting, and we should use relevance and the intent of the buyer. So picture your buyer's thought process and what they're thinking in their mind when they're entering that keyword into Amazon. Does your product match that intent? And that is the determination of whether you're relevant or not. So use that as your guide. So these key fundamentals, no matter how the game changes, what TOS updates come out, what shiny new tactic is released in the industry or someone figures out, these fundamentals will always remain true. And your job as a marketer, and whether you're new to marketing or you've been around in marketing for a long time, is purely figuring out the different ways in which you can achieve that result with the different channels and marketing technologies available to us within Amazon's terms of service or Amazon's sort of playbook, to achieve that result. So if you really focus in, if you're coming into module 6 and maybe you've gone through it, it's the deepest ASM we've ever gone into launching. It's the deepest we've ever gone into the strategy, the approach. And it may feel a bit overwhelming at first, but I would strongly encourage you to watch it all the way through and then understand the step-by-step, the layers that are building to the overall picture, and just take it one step at a time. And if you can really open your mind and sort of put some time aside to focus energy on understanding exactly why you're doing each step in that process, bringing it back to everything I just said there, the fundamentals, it's going to make a lot more sense for you. And my goal for you, my aim with all of this is for you to have a eureka moment, a spark of inspiration, and where it just falls into place, it clicks, and you go, okay, I get this. Because if you can get that, and you can understand that the fundamentals remain true pretty much in any market when marketing online, then you can see the playing field. And for football coaches or whatever in America, I know that they use their game plans. You can start creating your own game plans on how to achieve that level of success. And the game plan that I've laid out in module 6 is a very proven, well-tested, multi-million-dollar in results game plan that will get you success, providing you just take it one step at a time, follow the training, and understand the fundamentals and why you're doing it. So I'm really excited to jump into the questions in a second, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions around module 6, but really want to just stress the point of understanding exactly why you're doing it and the fundamentals that it always comes back to. So, Rich, should we dive in?
Yeah, so I did have a few things I want to talk about, but I do actually, listening to you just brought up another couple of things that I do want to bring up that are very important. And it's, first of all, Dan is completely right. Like, we have never gone this far and this deep, and, you know, the launch strategy is just something else completely. And just so we're clear on this, one of the main reasons we brought Dan in to join us with ASM was because we knew how much of that kind of thing he'd done, how many brands he's launched, and all that kind of stuff. So that's why we brought him in. And at the end of the day, it's insane. It works. And this is why, we're so confident about, people launching products now, because, when you get there and you go through the training, you'll see that the product we used is not a product we recommend any ASM members go after, because it's too competitive. It's in a very, very difficult niche. And yet, the ironic thing is we keep telling everyone, do this so you don't run out of inventory. We ran out of inventory. So when we say, at the end of the day, everyone runs out of inventory, it's going to happen. It does happen because it happened to us. I've been doing this 7 years now. Dan's been doing it like 5. And we ran out of inventory because mainly because the launch strategy worked too well. So we weren't ready for like how quickly we were going to make these sales. And if you take that, and what we did, we used exactly what we taught. Basically what we did is what we teach you how to do. So you're going to get exactly the same training, and it's there for you right now. Obviously, predominantly the most of you won't be there yet, but it's critically important because, and it ties into one of the things I will talk about in a minute, which is like, pulling the trigger and taking action. But the other thing is, when Dan talked about the new review button, it's like, it reminded me something that I've wanted to bring up so many times and I keep forgetting. And that is, we're in an industry where people doing this business like to complain. If you ask any of my friends, I'm the biggest whinger and moaner there is. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're going to see a lot of people being negative about Amazon, criticizing them, saying they don't know what they're doing, how they've ruined their business, all this kind of stuff. You're going to see it. But here's the deal. Amazon is a phenomenal place to run a business. There's nowhere else you can do this kind of thing. Like, you can't go anywhere else and just go, I've never launched a product before. I've never had a brand. I've got no experience whatsoever, but hey, I'm going to follow this training. And what do you know? I've got a brand live. You can't do it anywhere else. And the thing is, Amazon, they're not stupid. At the end of the day, you don't get to dominate the world e-commerce the way they've done and continue. It's growing exponentially. You don't get to do that unless you're incredibly smart. And a lot of the times they'll do something and, members are complaining and everything. And we just say to them, so if you owned Amazon, would you have done that? And the answer is 9 times out of 10 is going to be yes, because it makes sense for the Amazon business. And long term, if it makes sense for Amazon, it makes sense for us, because that's where we're selling. That's who we're using to sell our products. So biggest piece of advice I want to give you is, don't go searching online for stuff about Amazon, for stuff about selling on Amazon, because you're going to see the small percentage of people that will just blame Amazon for everything. At the end of the day, yes, they can be a pain in the neck, but for the most part, they're doing stuff to help us. This whole business with reviews back 2-3 years ago, it was nuts. If you had enough money, you could literally go and have 1,000 reviews on your listing within 3-4 days, just buying them. And like, you couldn't compete if you didn't have that kind of money. Slowly but surely, Amazon are getting a handle on reviews. They're making it hard and out there. It's easy for them to spot people using fake reviews, buying reviews, using review groups, all that kind of stuff now. They're much better at spotting it. But because they want to help people get legitimate reviews, first of all, they brought out the reviewer program. Okay, you can only get 5 or 6 reviews, but we used it for the product we just launched. We got 6 reviews. So basically, ironically, I guess, we paid $10 per review to Amazon, but they don't consider it incentivized because they're just sending it to random people. But basically, we got 5 5-star reviews and a 4-star review out of our 6 reviews. And it, basically it was just sign up for this, pay $60, and boom, we're off and running. It does take a bit of time, but they did that for us. Then the next thing they do is they finally publish a list saying, and this is covered in the training, that, you can only ever ask for a review once. So that hampered us a little bit. But then they come back with what Dan mentioned, which is now if you go and look at an order, there's a button that says request a review. So basically you're clicking on that and you're, excuse me, a message is going to be sent to the person who bought your product saying, hey, would you give us a review? And it's all done by Amazon. You know, you don't write the email and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing, don't go the minute you start getting orders and start using that. We're testing it right now, and we're going to come up with a strategy of the best way to use those. But don't believe all the negative hype you're going to see. I'll swear about Amazon a lot, you know, but at the end of the day, like I said, they're doing stuff to make their company and their business stronger. Their company and their business being stronger is better for us. You know, if it puts a little roadblock in front of us for a short time, so be it. But you just deal with it. You keep moving forward. Unfortunately, as I said, there's groups out there and so-called gurus out there that basically, you know, it's like, I don't know if you're familiar with the term clickbait, but they're going out there and they're slamming Amazon because they want people to read their stuff. And then they go, oh, by the way, we could help you with this. And then they'll probably do something that's completely against TOS and get you banned. Just saying. But like, so be positive over everything else. I know it's hard, but Amazon are there to help us make money, because if we make money, guess what? They're making money, and they want it to be legitimate. They want everyone to have a chance of doing this. You know, that's why they brought in, Dan mentioned, I don't know if you actually named it, but like the honeymoon period for new products, like that didn't exist before. So basically you would come on, you would launch, and, you know, it would be so much harder to get any traction because you didn't have that benefit. So they gave us that benefit for new sellers to launch new products, because they want at the end of the day, Amazon want more products. They want new products. They want products that are better than the ones they've already got. And that's how they're encouraging it. Sorry, I'm going to get off my soapbox now and try and talk about the stuff that I actually plan to talk about. But I just think it's so important that don't believe all you read, especially, especially outside of ASM. You know, at the end of the day, Amazon is an awesome, awesome company to work with. And that's what we're doing. We're working with them. So I'm going to quickly go through this now, because I did drag on for quite a while, as I tend to do when I talk about stuff I'm passionate about. So people on this call right now and people watching the replay, you're all probably at different stages. And I'm talking specifically about ASM11 here, but you're all at different stages, you know? So I just want to talk briefly about, again, in a different way though, about like not feeling you're getting left behind. At the end of the day right now, if you're still, you know, trying to narrow down your list to 3 hot opportunities, you're trying to find products. We've said it 100 times, don't worry about this. But if you're at that point, you know, like, don't spend all of your time staring at the screen, going through, you know, pages and pages and pages all the time. Take breaks, we've talked about that. But the other thing to do, go and watch the coaching calls. If you haven't seen all the coaching calls up to now, and yes, there's been 5 of them before this one, go and watch the replays. They're all there at the end of every module. They're also on the coaching tab in the archive, but go and watch them. They're incredibly important. A lot of the time, we'll talk about something on a coaching call because it comes up because someone's had an issue with it or got a question about it that we don't cover in the training, because we can't cover everything in the training. So it's invaluable. So make sure you watch those. Another thing, if you're struggling a little bit still and you're not sure, you know, you're not as confident as you were about finding products, then a slight change of tack to use here is to go and start running through subcategories. I talked about this briefly the last call, but so say for instance, you go, you know, if you think you've gone through all the pages you can in a specific category, target a subcategory, maybe even pick one that you're more interested in, or you think you might be more interested in, or pick one that you've seen come up again and again when you were going through the main category, and then search the subcategory. The reason for that is it will take you deeper. Right now, Amazon will only show you, I think it's 400 pages. The problem is, like a year ago, that would mean, I don't know, like ridiculous amounts of products. But now, because they're showing more sponsored ads, they're showing more others, there's actually less products per page. We used to have categories, and I think it was 32 or maybe even 48 on one page. And that was it, you know, so you had 400 times 48. Not even gonna think about it, but it's a lot, okay? But if you go into a subcategory, it means you can go deeper. It's not something we tell you to do to start with, because we don't want you to miss anything by skipping products you might see in the main category. But if you've been focusing on, let's say, kitchen and dining, you've been through all the pages in there, you still want to find more products, you might have a few, but you want more, pick a subcategory. For instance, I think utensils is one. Like, pick utensils and go through that subcategory. It will take you deeper. The products are going to be more related, so it's going to be easier for you, to spot things. And that's the other thing. You may not even realize it right now, but if you've been through this process over the last couple of weeks or so, and you've gone through, hundreds of pages, you're building up a sixth sense on doing this. So don't give up, don't stop. But at the same time, don't go overboard on like every minute of every day looking for products. Break it out, do other stuff, watch the coaching calls, but then also try, narrowing down into subcategories. So then we've got, say you've narrowed down your 3 hot opportunities, you're looking for suppliers. It's the same kind of thing, except there's a lot less suppliers to look at than products. And, you've got to trust your gut at some point. We give you a lot of pointers on how to find suppliers and what you should be looking for. But it's going to come down to you making a decision. And that's the key aspect of this. Make a decision. Don't keep second guessing yourself and saying, oh, I'm not 100% convinced, maybe I'll go and search and find another one to replace that one. When you've got your 3 suppliers, then boom, pick the product, pick the 3 suppliers, request samples. And then, most importantly of all, go and take advantage of the ASM sourcing bonus. It's such a powerful thing to have someone else go and do the work for you so that you can compare it with what you've got. So do that. So I'm trying to think where we are now. So if you've already done that, you found the product, so you've got the one product, you've ordered your 3 samples, you've done the sourcing bonus, then you're waiting for the samples. Don't just sit there and do nothing. Again, watch the coaching calls. Go into the next module, go beyond, go and look at module 4, look at 5 about creating your listing. Start thinking about the things that you're going to put in your listing. You don't have to create it right here and now. You can wait for your samples and all that kind of stuff. You can even wait till you've actually placed your order, but start thinking about it. Start writing dummy copy for it. Start analyzing the benefits and what the benefit actually is. A product has a feature. The feature is great, but we want to show the benefit of that feature, not the other way around, okay? The benefit is what is going to get you sales. Every time. There's no coincidence. If you go and look at all the most successful listings out there, they're all benefit driven. So make sure you do that. Start looking at your brand assets, module, I think it's 4, start building an audience. At the end of the day, you're at a point where you've ordered samples, you're using the amazing sourcing bonus. You are going to pick one of those suppliers. One of those suppliers, there's going to be 6 probably. If you found 3, the sourcing bonus is going to find you 3. You're going to pick one of those. You've gone beyond the tipping point now. You are going to place an order. So act like it. Go and start building an audience ready to use on your launch. We've been talking about the launch. It's an awesome method, but help yourself. Prepare for it. Go through module 4 and again, go through module 5. Don't ever feel like there's nothing for you to do, because there's always something to do, and it's just, if you do all those things, when you launch, you will be successful. You will get your product rank. You will organically rank, which is the whole goal of that launch. So though that's it, it's like, I've tried to cover every sort of position you could possibly be in right now. The most important thing here is that have that positive mindset. And if you are struggling, whichever situation you're in, if you're struggling, you're feeling down, you're feeling like you can't do it, all those kind of things. Step 1, go and look at your why. It should be right next to your computer. Look at it. And if that isn't enough, here's something to do. It'll take you probably 20, 30 minutes. Go to that why thread and read it. Go and look at everyone else's whys. There's some in there that will probably, depending how emotional, are going to make you choke up. There's some will make you laugh, but they're fascinating things to read. Go through them all. Reinvigorate yourself. We will do our best to help you do that. But at the end of the day, we can show you exactly how to do everything, but you've got to take that action and you've got to make decisions. If you follow all the training step by step, I promise you it's going to work out. Don't take shortcuts, follow everything we do, launch your product the way Dan teaches you to, and you will be one of our stars. You're going to be on a call someday being interviewed or on stage or wherever. Or if you don't want to do any of those things, you're going to be quietly sitting at home, starting to get to your why. So important. And Dan, I am done. So if you want to start going through the questions, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. Good chat, Rich. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to attempt to read names as I always do. So Bezalel, why, when setting up the broad campaign, why don't we add the negative exact, only the negative phrase? Won't this campaign win the bid on exact if bidding higher? So funnily enough, when I started really diving into negative exacts and negative phrase stacking, I had the exact same thought. And I tested the hell out of it and found that negative phrase does the job of, it covers negative exact as well. And if you think about the logic behind that, phrase is the same individual words in the correct order, but it can have words breaking them up. So if you think about the exact term, it's the individual words in the correct order. So no need to add the negative exact as well to your broad because negative phrase covers the negative exact. So yeah, don't worry about it. Next one, Matthew Keeley. You've got 3 questions here around ManyChat. So I'm going to break them down and take them one at a time. The first one, first time funnel builder, no worries. Everyone starts somewhere. The ManyChat competition flow is working great. Good to hear it's working. Good job. But ends in a member of the team will contact you. Is this normal? Note, my second to last message is thanks for stopping by. So yeah, I found this. What's happening there is this will only happen if the subscriber responds. So at the end of that flow, if the subscriber responds in Messenger, it's going to trigger your default reply. So what we need to do there is just tweak the default reply to be a bit more generic and all-encompassing. Basically, what you want to let them know is like you'll be in touch. We could end that flow differently because we're not actually asking them to reply. So maybe consider as well tweaking the end of that last message within the flow so the person doesn't feel that they need to reply. But yeah, I saw the same thing as well, but it's only a small percentage of the subscribers that are actually replying. And it's actually a good thing because it shows that people are excited about the competition. It shows you the approach is working, and it generally shows you're getting in front of the right type of people. So just change up your default reply and change that last message. Or if you wanted to, you could add the element that asks for a user's response and maybe ask them something fun about themselves, get them to engage a little bit. Because with the new ManyChat rules that are coming in January, that interaction is going to be really important for extending that 24-hour window. So you might ask them a fun fact about themselves or something, and then you could obviously open a conversation. It's going to create a lot more workload, but you're going to engage that subscriber. So just think about how you're ending off that conversation. But if you just want to leave as it currently is, just tweak your default reply to handle that. The second question, I would like to get each person to like my Facebook page to build the social proof and also like my Instagram page. I thought about replying with add an extra and competition entry by liking these. Can you comment on this or suggest outline how to design this flow? So firstly, I would double check that that's within Facebook's guide or rules for competitions. I used to do a lot of that. I used to do a lot of like and share type competitions, but Facebook really tightened up on their rules around that. So just double check on the TOS and whether that's allowed or not out of Messenger. I probably think it's probably not, although it's behind closed doors. So you might be okay. So double check that. In terms of how that would run, then you could ask them to go ahead and do that and then reply when they've done and pretend like you can either pretend like you're checking it or actually manually check it. That's obviously a lot of work. And in terms of then sort of how you would favor that into the competition, you could ask the subscriber to confirm they've done it. And when they click yes as a quick reply, tag them. And then when you announce a competition winner, you can obviously just count those tags in addition and maybe favor them, something like that. Or just do a random number picker and give them 2 votes. But yeah, you could use tags to identify them. In terms of another way of doing that, one thing as a tip from me, especially on your Facebook page, if you set yourself a weekly task, or depending on how much engagement you're getting on your Facebook page, maybe sort of every 2 weeks, a bi-monthly task, anyone that's liked your content, so anyone that's engaged with your posts on Facebook and click the like button, if you go back onto your Facebook page and click likes, Facebook will give you an invite button, and you can invite all of those people who have liked the post to like your page. And it has a really high conversion rate because people get a personal notification saying that the page has invited you to like them, and most people will just tap like. You could also consider, because social proof does help, especially in more difficult markets. I actually found this in the example that we used in module 6. I actually found this happened, and that is in markets like the one we chose, which is very subjective. It's a difficult market because it's something you're putting on your skin. The likes, the volume of likes on a page is a piece of social proof, and it is something you may want to consider layering in. So to do that, you could consider putting together what's known as a like campaign. So inside your Facebook page, there will be an option pop up within the coaching area on the Facebook page saying run a like competition to get more likes. Sorry, run a like Facebook ad to get more likes. And it's a special type of Facebook ad with the objective of page likes. You can do it from in Ad Manager and Business Manager as well. We used to use these a lot. And I found anything, if you can put a smile on your audience's face. So let's say you've got a dog brand as a pet brand. If you put together some sort of funny memes that dog owners would really engage with and find cute, or if you're a cat lover, maybe find like a viral video and boost it as a post of a cat doing something stupid. And then choose the objective page likes, set it at $5 a day and forget about it. It's a really good way to build up the likes on the page. Okay, third question, how do I pick a winner and then announce the winner? So I actually cover announcing the winner in module 7 that releases Friday. In terms of picking the winner, that is entirely up to you. What I would do is, see how many people you have engaged with the competition in that period. Go to Google, search random number generator, set your parameters from 1 to how many people have engaged in the competition, and let Google randomly pick a number for you. And then just count that many people down or something like that. Just pick a random winner, have your friend pick a winner. So it's random. You could make a whole thing of it and have someone guess a number, for instance. You could get playful with it. There are ways of automating that. If you think about the sort of randomizer that we used within module 6, there are ways in which you could automatically select 1% of the list, for instance. So that should open your thinking there. And then in terms of announcing, use the 24-hour +1 follow-up message type within ManyChat, which will allow you to hit that list with a message announcing the winner. And as you'll see in module 7 that releases tomorrow, we don't want to just tell them that they didn't win. We want them to interact and request to be told who won. And that way you're resetting that clock on the 24-hour period. So we might send out a message that says, thank you for taking part in this month's competition. Are you ready to see whether you'll win or not? Good luck. Yes, tell me. And then when they tap yes, tell me, obviously for 99% of them, you're going to say, sorry, you didn't win, but with our brand name, everyone's a winner. Here's a 20% off coupon. And then the actual winner you want to reach out to and engage with manually via the live chat function. In terms of TOS for competitions, there are rules for competitions on Facebook, so definitely do some reading up on that. And does the winner agree to share a photo of the prize? Yes, you can build in sort of terms of the competition into your initial flow. And just say, by entering this competition, you agree to our terms, then link off to the terms. Or you could even have a terms and conditions flow pre-written within ManyChat, and you could have a button that says read terms and conditions, and when they click that, you deliver the terms to them. And in those terms might be, you have to take a photo with you and the product, you have to submit that through to us. Like you can really expand this whole competition area out. Remember what I said though, in terms of the 80-20 rule and focusing on the 20% of action that produces 80% of the results. Whilst that stuff is really cool for generating user-generated content for social media and stuff down the line as you're building out your brand, right now your objective is to get the foundation of your brand online, pick a product, get it live. Then you can focus on adding all this really cool sort of user engagement stuff to get user-generated content once you've done that immediate action. Cool. Next question from Bukeferi. If I hire an inspector in China pre-freight forwarding, which I hear is recommended, yes, we do. Is it also recommended to have an inspection again before sending it to Amazon? No, it's not a requirement. If you have a product that is more susceptible to breakage or damage in transit, obviously we advise, especially when starting out, to avoid glass. But we did a electric salt and pepper shakers, myself and my business partner Leiden, and we didn't put double corrugated cardboard between the shakers. We put single corrugated cardboard, and a $60,000 order smashed on the freight on the way to the US. So if you're ever in a position like that, that was a painful day. Then yes, you obviously want to get that inspection done once it's got over the sea to the US or to wherever you're selling. But if you're just starting and you've picked one of the products within the guidelines, you've had it pre-inspected within China, you're happy with the standard of the factory and how it's been going, it's not a necessity to get it done on the ground in China as well. Just get it into Amazon. You obviously need to get the preparation, everything done. So just figure out where that's being done. Obviously all your labeling and everything, but not necessarily a full inspection. Okay, next one. If I put choking hazard on my packaging, do I need to inform Amazon or fill out any forms? I don't actually know the answer to that. Maybe Tracy, the goddess of all wisdom, does in the background, but I don't actually know the answer to that. So we'll circle back on that. If we don't get the answer right now, then post it in the community for us and we'll get the answer for you. Next question from Biz Robertsby. Tracy says, no, you don't. Cool. No, you don't. Okay, Biz Robertsby. I have a couple of products on my hot opportunity list. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. I'm going to circle back. So to be completely clear on that answer, no, you don't. Just have the bags labeled in terms of the choking hazard. There you go. Okay, so next one. I have a couple of products on my hot opportunity list that use batteries, but do not plug into electrical supply. What kind of testing should I do if I proceed with such a product? Any other problematic areas I should be aware of? So in terms of testing, I don't know whether you're referring to sort of your own sample testing or actual product testing in the factory. You obviously want to make sure that batteries are up to standard, meet all the required standards for batteries. You obviously need to ensure that you let Amazon know when converting it to FBA that you've got those batteries and submit your SDS form. But in terms of your own testing, I would say run the product for the duration and see. You want to start thinking about like use cases. You want to start thinking about use cases in terms of how long is the user expecting to use this product for, and do the batteries you're supplying suffice and meet the expectation of that use case? So actually use the product yourself. If it's a light, leave it on for 3-4 days, see how long the batteries last. Let's say you're doing a headlamp or a torch or something. Just make sure they're good batteries, essentially. Okay, next one, Jasmine. My first product is a pet product and it will have textile. Would this create an issue? Can you track sell inventory from Seller Central? Where can you track sell inventory from Seller Central? Okay, I'm not quite sure on the question. You might need to post that in. You might need to clarify and post that in the community. In terms of textile, I'm guessing you mean, does it have any issues clearing Amazon? And in terms of whether you can, in terms of whether you can track, you can obviously see your inbound shipments when you go to manage FBA inventory. You can see what's inbound and what's reserved, what's processing, etc. But in terms of would it create an issue, post in the community for us, Jasmine, and be a bit more specific with what you mean. Okay, Sigarami, I have a question about PPC. I organically rank higher on some keywords than others. It means I have to bid higher on those keywords. What keywords need I focus the most if you just launch? You need to go and watch module 6. I cover all of that in depth within module 6. That's a very big question. So jump into module 6, watch that, come back to next week. And if you have any questions, obviously post in the community or come back on the call. But you need to prioritize keywords based on relevancy. Don't go after anything that could generate a sale. Go after ones you know will generate a sale. Pick 3 to 5 if you're limited on budget, especially, and focus on them in your PPC stack, in your PPC campaign. Follow the structure that I taught in module 6. And in terms of your ranking well for certain terms and not others, before you start increasing bids, go and see how those terms are converting within your search term report and what the click-through rate is on those keywords that you're not ranking so well for, and determine whether you are considered relevant for them based in the buyer's mind. So make that assumption, use the data to inform your decisions before just throwing money at the terms. If all of that checks out and you're converting well, your click-through rate's good, and it does just need more visibility, then yes, go bid more on those terms. But it sounds to me like you haven't been through module 6, so I'd strongly encourage you to go and watch that first. April Motsinger. I have myself confused on the UPC and FNSKU barcodes. Don't worry. Many people do get confused, including myself in the beginning. I started on ASM10 and now have my first product en route, now from China. Well done. Good job on following through and getting that done. I had the MFG place. Okay, manufacturer. I had the manufacturer place the UPC on the carton as we were taught, with the understanding that it would be covered with the FNSKU. Here is where the confusion begins. I thought that we didn't put the FNSKU on a shipments, as our shipments may be split between Amazon warehouses. So who puts them on now? My freight forwarder or does Amazon? And I understand that FNSKU is generally generated by Seller Central, but where do I find it on their site? And Dana mentioned in module 3 that the UPC was mandatory. Why is it mandatory if it's going to be covered? Okay, let's break this down, April. So UPC is a standard code that's used on products worldwide. There are billions of them. Every single product has a UPC code, and it's a unique identifier to that product. Amazon has then generated their own version of this, which is the FNSKU, as it's known. And the reason that overlaps or goes over the top of the UPC is that is how Amazon tracks that product within its own inventory system, within its own sort of logistics system. And Amazon does not want two barcodes on the product packaging for efficiency. It doesn't want their people getting confused when scanning. You think about the logistical headaches that would create. So yes, a UPC is mandatory. Yes, it is mandatory for creating that product listing and adding that product onto Amazon. And yes, you do cover it up with the FNSKU. In terms of who covers it up, it can be your freight forwarder, it could be your you, or it can be Amazon. If you're really struggling with this, I would suggest that you just go ahead and let Amazon do it. They'll charge you 20 cents per unit, which is obviously negligible, especially on a lower volume of product. So I'd go ahead and let Amazon do that for you. You get Amazon to do that when you create a shipment plan for the product. So go to your listing, drop down the little option next to the listing and click create shipment. I think it's the wording, create shipment, and go through the shipment plan. I do cover this extensively at the start of module 6. I think it's lesson 2. Module 6, lesson 2. I cover this extensively. So go back and watch module 6, lesson 2. In terms of why is it mandatory, Amazon requires it to identify the product. That's why it's going to be covered. And as you'll learn in the updated, you can, on your next order, just have the FNSKU printed on your packaging, so you don't have to have it labeled yourself or let Amazon do it at 20 cents, but you still need a UPC code to identify that product. So UPC, unique identifier for the product, global, billions of them. FNSKU is Amazon's own version that they use to manage inventory and logistics throughout their systems. And they want it covered up so that it doesn't mess their people up and creates efficiency. I hope that helps. And yeah, if you're struggling, just let Amazon do it. And you do that in the shipment plan and go watch module 6, lesson 2 of ASM11. I walk through it step by step. Okay, Tinko UK. How would you identify a non-brandable product, one you would avoid due to lack of potential for branding? I would argue, providing you're not competing with a category that is brand driven, by that I mean you wouldn't go and try and release an iPhone or anything of the sort. Like, say you're not going competing with major brands who the brand is driving the demand for the product, not the actual product. I would say almost every product on Amazon is brandable. I could sell branded toilet roll if I wanted to, because think about what a brand is. A brand is a voice. It's a visual representation of a specific customer or audience you're trying to connect with. So I'm a big fan of Lululemon, the fashion brand, Lululemon, and they know their customer to the point that I was in a store in London the other day, and the books they had, my wife was buying clothes and in the changing room, the books they had on the side were all the books I'd read recently. They're all on like productivity and that sort of stuff, business influence and stuff. So think about what a brand is. Now, if I wanted to go and sell, say, toilet paper or tissue roll, I think you call it in America, then I might pick out a specific type, like maybe a college student, and create funny prints or something. So I don't believe there is any products that's not brandable, to be honest. Providing you understand that a brand is speaking to a person and the product sits within the brand, within the range. And if anyone in the background's got any sort of other feedback on that, let me know. And as always, just go back and watch the training. Okay, how do third-party inspections work? So I have an electronic product that might appear to be working okay on the surface, but then would run more detailed tests with proper test tools and check all the internal specs okay, like data transfer speed, signal distortion, etc. You can have those tests done. It costs more money to do so, but you need to understand, you determine the level of testing you want done on a product, and there are inspection companies that will do that level of testing for you. There are big bodies that certain factories have to meet certain criteria like ISO regulations for them to be able to produce products. So if you're concerned about the technicalities of a product to that depth, consider finding a factory or supplier that meets, try and find a supplier that's maybe supplying some big brands in the similar market, the similar product type, is registered with one of these sort of trade standard bodies, because you know they've been held to a high standard. And also just have the inspection company do more in-depth testing. There is testing available for that. And obviously get your sample over to yourself and do your own local testing as well. And then have the factory agree that that's going to be the standard of all the units. Okay, next one, Lucy. My question is related to the giveaway via Facebook ads. As I'm selling only one product, how can I offer a valuable package? I am just wondering how it works when a person wins and then I want to need to send the price, where to get the other products. I don't want to offer competitors' products. So you don't need to offer competitors' products. And I wouldn't really, I think you're overthinking this, to be honest, Lucy. I think the best way to do is, what other products is that customer buying to deliver the outcome that your product delivers? So you'll know in the example for the taco holder, I created a set, a prize that was basically the ultimate Taco Tuesday. And it was every tool, kitchen utensil, appliance they need to deliver like the ultimate Taco Tuesday. And yeah, sure, I might end up selling some of those products in the future, but I went after big brand names. So I went after like big brand names that are in your retail stores that we're not competing with, and everyone already knows the brand names anyway. In terms of where to get the products, we had this question last week. Amazon's obviously your easiest, because then you can just order the product from Amazon through your own personal Amazon account and just put the delivery address as your competition winner. Or you can order it anywhere on the internet. For the brand that we used within module 6, we actually found the product on Google Shopping, and we're about to announce the winner, and we're going to go ahead and just order it from the website we found it on and put the competition winner's address as the delivery address. So look at the products that you intend to sell. Have a look at the frequently bought together. Are there any ideas there? Have a look at customers also bought at the bottom of the page. Are there any ideas there? Or jump into some Facebook groups, or look at some Instagram hashtags or some YouTube channels relevant to the niche you're looking at, and have a look at what products are showing up on these pages and in the videos, and you should be good. But don't overthink it about sort of selling, giving away your competitors' products and stuff. Right now, let's just get the product live. Let's get the audience built. Gwen, hey Gwen, thank you for your feedback in the community this week. You've been doing a great job on the ManyChat stuff. Thank you for that. So it's definitely improving things. So under ASM training, we commenced our first launch blitz rank, I think LBR stands for, in late October, and second LBR in mid-November, that we are winding down. We feel that our products and keywords we targeted were highly competitive, while targeting keywords have not remained in the top 50 nor got into the top 10. Okay, so you probably wasn't aggressive enough with that. Should we start using Dan's module 6 lesson 5, prioritizing keywords for launch strategy, using other relevant long tail keywords to attempt to rank keywords for less competitive keywords and then go after the more competitive ones? Current unit session percentage is 22%. So your current conversion rate is 22%. However, it's keyword ranking we'd like the advice on. So the answer, Gwen, in summary is yes. What I would do here is those main terms you originally chose, given the fact you've got a 22% conversion rate, that tells me that you're relevant for those keywords. It tells me that you've gone after the right type of customer, but after the right type of keywords. But just validate that data using your search term reports. How are your click-through rates? What's your conversion rate on those keywords? Have a look at your competitors' listing. Are they the keywords that they're using at the start of their own titles? Once you've made that assessment, you've sort of just done that validation. Yes, these are still the main terms for this product. What I would then do is look for longer tail keywords that have that main keyword in it. So you'll know from module 6 how I went after quite a long tail keyword. There was a combination of another 5 or 6 keywords in that list, and they all sort of overlapped each other. See if you can find keywords that match that criteria. For you, now that you have PPC data, all of that data is available in your search term reports. You don't even have to do cold keyword research using Keyword Scout or anything like that. You can, all of the data is available to you in your own data, and Amazon data is the best data, the PPC data. So look for terms in that PPC data for the lifetime of the campaign. They've got a good click-through rate, have generated sales at a decent ACOS, and have a good conversion rate. And then pick out 4 or 5 of them that have demand, and you can tell demand based on the impressions. So if there's any volume of impressions, then there's demand for that keyword. And apply module 6, apply ASM11 launch process to those new longer tail keywords. Still leave your older campaigns on, especially your main term, because you don't want to start dropping rank for that term, which can happen if you stop targeting with ads and you're not ranked. But layer in the new stuff, and then as that builds up, just bring the budgets and the bids down on your old stuff. And what should happen is, it's going to take a bit longer because you're outside of that honeymoon period now. But what's going to happen is you're going to rank for those longer tail keywords fairly easily, I would imagine, based on the 22% conversion rate. That's a healthy conversion rate as a base. And you will see that they then drag the more competitive terms up. Focus on getting your reviews as well, which is obviously going to bolster your conversion. And once you've achieved rank for those longer tails, then go into phase 2 of your launch and start targeting those more competitive ones again, because you should have more sales now as a result as well, meaning you've got more profit in your business to fund that. So don't ever look, and this is a good point for everyone listening, don't consider a launch a one-time event. We're constantly launching. All that changes is the keywords we're targeting. So come up with your group, your stage 1, as I call it, or phase 1 launch keywords, which are your 3 to 5 keywords. And in this instance, I would advise going after some longer tail ones. Once you've achieved rank on those, then change your target to maybe a bit more competitive ones, and continue to sort of climb up that ladder. And overall, all of those longer tail keywords will drag up the more competitive stuff. And don't forget to focus on review building. I hope that answered the question. But yes, you've got the right idea there, Gwen. Okay, Gwen, again, in ASM 11 modules, lesson 17, optimizing price against rank and sales. Dan refers to his product performance tracker and looks awesome, very detailed. Is there a draft template available to download and use? Yes, I covered that in the lesson. AmazingSellingMachine.com/tracker. AmazingSellingMachine.com/tracker. That'll take you to that. And then just go file, make a copy. Okay, next one, Shibism. If the competing products provide the same function experience as the primary product, but they look quite different, is this still viable? I'm looking at a product in the home and kitchen. I'm guessing people buy this product for function, and aesthetics play a minor role. So yes, absolutely, that's still viable, providing it delivers the same outcome. You're then getting into the conversation of, well, there's demand for this product. It's a viable opportunity. It delivers the same outcome, but there is different design tastes. What I would do at this stage is analyze the first couple of pages of products and maybe tally which ones come up more often. So order by BSR or order by total sales. I wouldn't do revenue because obviously the price drives the revenue. Order by BSR, and then look in the top 20, top 30, however far you want to go with this, and maybe do a count of which style of design comes up more often. And that'll start giving you indication to where the demand in the market for the style is. And then you've got a decision to make on whether you develop that further or we come out with a similar style. But yeah, it's definitely still viable. It obviously adds a layer of complexity, but it also adds a layer of differentiation, which is good for conversion. So I would still go ahead with that. Ellen, I would like to do a limited relaunch. Which steps to use and for how long? I don't have a list of subscribers yet. Okay, so this whole analogy of a limited relaunch. Launches aren't really limited, so to speak. The more you meet the demand. So it's really pick keywords with lower demand, pick keywords with lower sales volume, so you don't have to meet the demand. Now, if the product's already available and you're already selling and you're already ranked, then what you're actually saying is, I want to target some new keywords. Now, to do that, you do the exact same process as taught in module 6. You'll probably find that you can do it just with the PPC strategy. If the PPC is not quite giving you enough sales based on click-through rate and conversion rate, then you may need to layer in some promotional codes. And if you don't have subscribers yet, go and do what I've taught in module 6. Run your competition, run your direct percentage off offer on a Facebook ad. Go and do the work to build that competition list, that subscriber list, to then convert into percentage off purchases. So yeah, the answer, Elon, is do module 6 and apply it to your target terms that you want to launch to. I'd encourage you, if you haven't yet, watch the entirety of module 6 and then reassess that question, because I think you'll have a lot more clarity on it. I can't reach my break-even price. My selling price is lower and advertising costs me a lot. Is this normal process after launch? It should be different. How do I increase the price and still get enough sales? Okay, so it's, again, you need to use the data to inform the decision on this. And obviously I don't have the data, but what I would assume is, first off, what is your unit session percentage? What's your conversion rate? Are you in single figures or are you into teens? If your conversion rate is acceptable, how many reviews do you have compared to competitors that are ranking in the position you're targeting? So let's say your position, let's say you're targeting, I don't know, above the fold, top 5 or top 20 products. How many reviews have they got and what review rating have they got? If they're into the 20s or 30s or into triple figures and you've got 3 reviews, then your issue is you're not going to be able to charge the price yet because you haven't got the reviews to justify the price. If your advertising is costing you a lot, which tells me your ACoS is high, go into your search term report, check the click-through rates for the terms you're targeting. Are you considered relevant by the buyer? Again, I do cover all of this in module 6, Ellen, so go and watch that. And then come back and ask these questions because I think you'll get a lot of the answers from there because I've gone into a lot of detail around this stuff. But yeah, to answer the question, if you haven't targeted relevant keywords and you haven't gained the social proof in terms of reviews, then yes, you are going to struggle to hit target price until you've got that social proof and visibility for relevant terms. Peter 31, I have a question regarding the offer on the product insert. What are your thoughts on offering to extend Amazon's 30-day money-back guarantee to 90 days? Product sales for $15 and the profit margin is about 25. Sounds like a good product. Yeah, absolutely. What you might consider, and I talked about this in module 7 a little bit, is with, let's say your first order is 500 units. And you know that within about 90 days or so, you're going to have to place that second order if you hit your sales targets. What you might consider is putting a more aggressive offer on your product insert for the first batch of inventory, and then changing that offer on the product insert for the second batch. So it might be more costly in the beginning to give whatever you want to give on the product insert, but the objective is to get to that first 20 reviews and carry on, excuse me, to get to that first 20 reviews and continue. Once you've got there, you can then swap out the offer to a less attractive offer to bring in sort of an evergreen flow of reviews moving forward. But yeah, extending the money back guarantee, extending the warranty, so to speak, is definitely one that works. You can have them scan the QR code or go to a website address, take them into ManyChat via the growth URL, the growth tool URL. Ask them for their order number, try and find a way of asking for their cell phone number. You might have to justify it with a reason like, in case we need to contact you about replacing your products or something like that. But as of January, cell phone numbers are very important to us to follow up because of the changes that are coming with ManyChat. So, and then just confirm to them, yeah, great, we've got that. And then you could just create a custom field within ManyChat. And when they give you that data, update that custom field to yes. So it might be warranty registration or extended warranty registration is the custom field. And then when they give you all that information, just set an action that automatically update that field to yes. And then you can use that field, that data field, to filter the audience in future. If you wanted to say run a promotion just to people that have extended warranty, you could use that filtering within ManyChat's tools to then hit everyone that have got that yes on that field. But yeah, it will work for sure. It's not as attractive as some of the stuff I've taught, but it will work. Cool. I believe that's my list.
The look on your face when you realized you'd finished, it was like seeing a little kid opening a Christmas present.
Well, I didn't quite know how long I'd been talking for, so.
40 minutes.
Cool.
Did a good job. Good job. Go and have a laugh with the mentors in the background.
Okay.
All righty. So let's get on to these questions now. I've got about the same amount. I'll try not to talk too fast. I'm not in a hurry to get rid of you all, honest. The first one is from, I'm going to go for Eliza Asham, or it could be, yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. 19, by the way. My husband and I are still waiting for our Seller Central account to be approved, which James is already assisting us with that process. But while we wait for the approval, if we have selected our final product, would it be okay to order the samples? So basically, I did have a quick word with James about your situation. He's pretty confident you're not going to have any issues and we'll get you through this one way or another. So if you're convinced that's the product for you, then yes, don't be scared to go ahead and order the samples. Basically, you know, James and I will do whatever we possibly can to get that approved, but we should be able to do it for you. So yes, order your samples. Biz Roberts PI, I hope that's right. One of these days you'll have to tell us, because your name does come up quite a bit. I know we were instructed to avoid products that plug into electrical supply. Is the same true for products that use USB charging? Are these two considered equal, meaning they should be avoided? So, first of all, yes. In terms of like, you know, avoiding products that plug into electrical supply, yes, they should be avoided. But it's one of those little categories that we mentioned in there that, you know, if you do want to go down that route, you can. You just have to be super careful that it's a high quality product. You have to make sure it matches all the requirements of the country you're selling in. So bear in mind, a really simple thing that you might think, well, obviously, which we've seen people forget, is they've sold an electrical product in the US and it's come with a Chinese plug on it. So something as simple as that. So, but you do have to make sure it matches all the requirements for the USA if that's where you're selling. So safety requirements and all that kind of stuff. Plus, if you're going to use anything that can potentially harm someone with electricity, you're going to want to have liability insurance. Now, off the top of my head, I am not 100% sure whether you would need the same level of liability insurance for a USB charger, but at the end of the day, it's still plugging into a wall. It's something you would have to dig into deeper. But again, as long as you follow all those, you know, those requirements, that it's high quality product, it matches all the data, all the requirements you need for its selling in America for safety and everything, then you can go down that route. It's just what we are saying is there are easier products out there to launch for your first product. A mail, Rich had mentioned that the minimum profit margin we should have for our first product should be 20%. That is the absolute minimum, yes. And I did explain it more in the training, but I will cover it in a second. And that's just where my product is currently based on FBA revenue carry. However, other mentors have advised not to go with a product with that low margin, as other costs such as ads is going to reduce my margin significantly. I'm not sure what to do here. And you've got a second question, so I'll answer that separately. So first of all, 20% is the absolute minimum you should ever go to. And only then, if you see that there's a margin for you to bring that up quite significantly. So in other words, in the training, I talked about looking at larger orders. Is that going to bring the price down? Is that going to help your profit margin and other things? In an ideal world, you want to be shooting higher than that. Because yes, once you do your launch and everything, it's going to bring stuff down. But you've got to bear in mind that moving forward, as long as you follow the training and you do everything that we're suggesting you do, that your profit margin will increase over time. But 20% is an absolute minimum. Like, don't go below that by any means. And don't forget, everyone's got their own opinions on stuff. That's our general rule of thumb. If you can shoot higher than that, then shoot higher than that. My God, it's been back in England. I think I've caught Dan's cold over the internet. Sorry, flu. Rami Nassif, how shall I price my product? Okay, so you've got primary product competing 1 and 2. We're in the range of 26 to 32. However, a new PP primary product since Black Friday is now $20. Shall I match primary product, competing product 1 or competing product 2? So there is an entire lesson on pricing in module 5. In this situation, they probably just dropped that price because of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and they're trying to take advantage of the increase in sales on those 2 days by being a lower price than their competitors. I'm pretty much sure that you'll find once things dies down, that price will go back to where it was. So go ahead and look at the price history just to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But when it comes to the price, you know, we gave you several different options of doing it. By the time choosing your price is important, but you're only really going to know your price once the market tells you what your price is. At the end of the day, you are just guessing to start with more than anything else. And Dan, when you go through module 6, he's going to show you how you figure out the launch price. And then you slowly increase that price. There's so many ways. You could just use the primary. You could take the top 3 and take an average. There's so many different ways of doing it to price your product when you're looking to figure out profit margin and everything on whether you choose a product. Like when you, like the actual price you'll end up selling it for is determined by the market. But the easiest way with that one, I would actually go with the price before Black Friday, because I virtually guarantee they dropped that just for Black Friday. Another one from Eliza Asham. While doing product research, our BSR value is reliable during the month of December when everything is on sale for Christmas and New Year's. In last week's call, you advised to wait till 4 or 5 days after Black Friday, but should we wait until the first week of January to continue with product research? I don't think you need to wait that long. So we're talking about the American market, which is actually incredibly different to how I remember it being in the UK. In the UK, especially men, basically did all their shopping on Christmas Eve. If you went shopping down the high streets or a big department store or something on Christmas Eve, you would only see men. And it was all the men basically doing all the shopping at the last minute. In America, because of Black Friday, and that's starting to happen here now, it's another way that the Americans are influencing the British. We've now got Black Friday, but everyone in America is conditioned to getting all their Christmas gifts on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That's why we get a slowdown in sales before those 2 days, and then insanity over those 4 or 5 days. And then slowly but surely it'll go back to normal. So you're not going to see a massive difference moving forward now. Things will level out. Honestly, Christmas is coming. If you want to take a break and come back to it in January, that is completely fine. You know, we've said a million times, this is a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to do it right now. But definitely starting sort of Monday of next week, things will basically get back to normal. You're still probably going to see a slight weighting. In other words, for gifts. So gifts are probably going to do more sales than they would normally. But it's up to you. Certainly, and don't forget, you can always look at sales history to get a better idea of what it's like, you know, over the last 6 months, as opposed to the change in the last week. So I hope that helps. This is my favorite question, because I hope everyone's comfortable, because I could probably answer this question in about 5 hours, because there's so many different ways of looking at it. But it's basically, but what is the best way to increase sales velocity? Which I think you're talking about, you know, that getting more sales, obviously, but a specific time and a specific velocity to boost your ranks. Boost your rank. There's so many different ways. Basically, everything that Dan teaches you in module 6, 7, and partly in 8 will do that. Doing a launch, running Facebook ads, using ManyChat. But I think if we go outside of the launch, the absolute one thing you should do to increase sales velocity is nail down your Amazon ads. I think more and more we've seen over the last 6 months that Amazon ads is so, so important. And that's why this time around, we've gone into Amazon ads in a much deeper way than we've ever done before. You know, before it was just like basically showed you how to get started and a few extra bits. So it's a lot more involved. And we've also got you a free trial of an amazing tool that makes everything a lot easier too. It's all covered in the training. But when it comes to sales velocity, it's such an open-ended question because there's so many answers. But if you ask me for one specific thing, it would be to concentrate on your Amazon ads. But if you haven't already done it, go through module 6, because that is exactly what launching is. It's about increasing your sales velocity to get ranking. Well, part of it. Susan Minier, you sent me some lovely graphs here, so I'll try and explain it without them. Question about Black Friday and holiday sales. So we're kind of in the same ballpark as the previous question, well, a couple of questions ago. I'm still in product selection phase. And in one of my products, the primary product went from 230 to 22 BSR. Yep, that can happen. And the first competing went from 295 to 84. Yep, that same thing. Should I disregard December numbers and just stick with my original BSRs? I have printed the BSR history, but the graph displays 11 to 6,000 and 7 to 60,000. So you cannot get precise details on what the average BSR is above 100. So first of all, awesome job on being thorough. And yes, you're right about the graph to a certain extent. But if you look at the graph, what you're looking for is huge peaks and troughs. So especially with BSR, it's a trough. In other words, the number gets lower. Actually, the way they do it, it's upside down. So it's a peak. So In other words, you're looking to see if something dramatic happened to reduce the BSR. My gut feeling is that the numbers you had before Black Friday are fine and that product is still probably viable. I do get where you're coming from. I would imagine that, I'm going to guess here, that the product you're talking about probably is something that can be gifted, or that something that's maybe slightly more expensive that they had great deals on or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you can't get what you need from the BSR history and the price history and everything, then give it a week and see what happens. See if that BSR starts to go up again. I strongly suspect it will. Basically, Amazon, I can't even remember exactly. I think it's 4 days, 3 or 4 days. It's a rolling BSR. Like, it's not like, oh, their sales on that day, so that's their BSR. It's a rolling figure. So as the days go by, slowly but surely, it should start going back to where it was. But those number of sales they've obviously made, which is probably insane numbers, to jump that much, it'll take a while to die down. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that the numbers you had before Black Friday are probably more correct. But give it a few days and just, be a bit patient, maybe wait a week and see what they look like next week, and even track them, because I'm pretty sure you're going to start to see that BSR start to rise again when people start buying normal products, shall we say again. Biz Roberts PI, I have a hard time determining whether a product is considered a textile or not. Yep, a lot of us like that. I've read through the thread in the community. Basically, it only contains a rope between two attachments. It's not to be worn or anything of that kind. How can I make sure it is okay? So there's a few. The problem with it is actually determining exactly what it is and what it's regarded as. The best people to tell you that is probably the suppliers. If this product, if you're in the process of narrowing down to your best 3, and this one on all counts except for the question mark of a textiles will put it in the top 3, then you're going to be contacting suppliers for it. That's one of the first questions I would ask. Do you know what kind of textile is, if this is considered a textile, what kind of textile and what kind of import duty and what kind of special labeling? Because those 2 things are the most important. Will it require? If you ask, you should be contacting, I can't remember what we said in the training, but 8 to 10 suppliers. If you ask 8 to 10 people for an answer, you're pretty much going to get the answer you need. Yes, it's a bit more difficult until you actually contact suppliers. And it's why we kind of give this ballpark answer of avoiding textiles. I don't know what the product is. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal, but ask the suppliers. If it makes it through into the last 3, because if it's numbers, ask the suppliers. You'll get a very good indication that way. How come we are calculating the gross profit margin based on the primary product's price, considering some of the competing products could be selling for less, and it's also a price point we'll most likely have to start at, or am I missing something? We do it because that's what we're doing, okay? It's the primary product we're looking at. That's what we're using to base our decisions on. The others, the competing products, are there just to prove viability. At the end of the day, if you want, you can take the top 3 products and use an average price for the 3 of them, if that's the way you want to go. Basically, the way we do it, it's based on its numbers, its data, and we found that this is the best way to figure out a product's viability or not. And then essentially, you're using the price of the most popular product because that's what you want to emulate. That's the product you want to emulate. You want to be the most popular product. So I hope that makes sense. Right to Payal. I was just wondering if selecting a high demand seasonal product is a good option or not. If not for first product, but maybe second or third product. So there's your answer. Strictly speaking, it's not something we'd recommend going after for your first product. Second or third, sure. When it comes to seasonal products, you just need to be 100% that there's enough demand in that period. In other words, that season, so that you're going to make enough money over the year. Okay, that's one of the, so I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of one, but say Halloween. Halloween is basically a 10-day thing. Are you going to make enough money in those 10 days? And especially, are you going to be able to get rid of all your inventory in those 10 days so that you don't get charged inventory charges or storage charges by Amazon for the rest of the year while you wait to sell them again? Obviously, that's an extreme. you know, a summer product, that's probably, well, in England, that's like 2 weeks. But in most places in America, that's probably 3-4 months. You just have to look at it. You have to look at the sales history and everything. But for your first product, it's not something we'd recommend particularly. But look at the sales history. One thing to mention there about summer products, for instance, if you were from near where two of our mentors are near, so Michigan and Pittsburgh, they do have summers, but they also have very, very long winters. Whereas if you look at people that live in Florida or California, they have pretty much sunny weather all year round. So for instance, a barbecue item, that might work really well in Florida and California, but it's not going to work as well in Pittsburgh or in Michigan because they're not going to use it as much. So there's not as much demand. But you do need to figure that all out. You do need to check on that, be really careful. Again, it's not something I would strongly recommend you go after for a first product. And Joanne's just messaged saying, Tracy, we have summers, question mark. Also, I want to know if I wish to sell a product related to a festival. By when should my products reach to Amazon warehouse and list it? Before the festival? I'm not really sure what you're asking. I mean, like say for instance, Halloween. So Halloween, so you're probably looking at the 24th is the last possible day you'd want to be there. You'd want to be there live at least a week before. But that's getting very specific for something like a festival. It's not something we'd recommend going after unless it can justify the sales for the entire year. That seems a bit strange. Same person, my Seller Central account shows 2 marketplaces, USA and Canada. I don't know how Canada got added. Can I remove it? My account is not yet activated, it's under review for utility bills. It's there because it's a unified account. I think it's called a unified account. I forgot what they call it. Basically, I've got an American account. It shows Mexico and Mexico, Canada and Mexico. Once your account's live, it will show Mexico. It's nothing to be worried about. Just ignore it. I mean, you're only going to be selling in America. I think it's unified, but anyway, it's similar to it in the UK. A UK account will show Germany and other European countries too. Yes, North America unified account. There you go. Thank you, Tracy. If the product is a set or bundle, how would you use Managed by Stats to create a traffic grabbing title? I'm not sure I understand the question, because you don't use Managed by Stats to create the title. You come up with the title. Yes, MBS facilitates you creating that title, but it's not like you just chuck stuff in there and it makes it for you. As to the rest of the question, it's absolutely no difference. If you're selling a set of something or a bundle of something, it's exactly the same principles. You use exactly the same principles, go through all the training. It's all there in the lessons. It's just instead of it being one product, it's more than one. I mean, the product I used, which is actually quite a difficult one, was the four taco holders. So it's not just like a single product, even though it's packaged as a single product. But it's exactly the same principles. You use the benefits. It's the benefits of the set instead of the product. So I hope that helps. When I click on BSR or price history, sometimes the data shows up and sometimes it doesn't. Is it an MBS retriever issue or am I doing something wrong? You're definitely not doing something wrong. And it's not strictly speaking an MBS retriever issue. It's basically that MBS can only pull the data that it can get, if that makes sense. Not all products will have all that data. So, you know, it can be a bit hit and miss, especially with lower ranked products. We are continually trying to fix this. In fact, I had a chat with them last week, specifically about that and also about the UK. So hang in there. But basically, it's not an issue, shall we say, with the retriever, and you're definitely not doing something wrong. Oh, I read something about needing to be signed in with a professional account to see all historical data. Not true. It has nothing to do with it whatsoever. Gala School UFA. I think I should know that. Anyway, if I found a hot product opportunity with a price of $14.99, excuse me, and all the competitors are below this price, like $10, is it a viable product? Nope. Doesn't match on price. So when it comes to price, okay, the primary product does just, but if your two competing products are below that, and at $10 especially, that's a long way below it, then yeah, it doesn't match. You'd have to remove that one. You know, there is some leeway sometimes, but basically when your primary is at the absolute bottom and the rest are even lower, then yeah, that doesn't match. So yeah, you need to find another one. ShibSM, I was about to contact suppliers for one of my hot products. I went back to Amazon UK to check. The primary product listing is no longer there. The second competing product is still listed and active. The third is the same as the first, vanished. It directs me to this. We're sorry, the web address you entered is not a functioning page on your site. So the listing could have been blocked for some reason. They could have an issue with Seller Central. A bit difficult to tell. It's probably not that they've just run out of inventory, because you should still see the listing, just not available. So my answer to this would be, if the second competing product becomes the primary product, do you have another 2 competing products that still are within the criteria? If the answer is yes, then I would still, hang on to it. I wouldn't get rid of it. But if not, then just see what happens. It could be they've made a mistake or done something with their listing that they shouldn't have, and maybe they'll be back up. But if you've still got 3 products, not counting those 2 that have disappeared, then you still should be good. Biz Roberts PI, I want to start with a simple product to learn the tricks and intricacies of the business. Boom. You should get, if I could give you a spot prize, I would. Maybe you will get one. We'll see. But that's exactly what you're doing. Now, don't ruin it. What else do you say? On the other hand, I'm intensively thinking of building a brand. Perfect again. I have a couple of favorites in the different categories, but I understand some categories are more challenging than others. For example, baby versus pet supplies. If in my shoes, would you first move to be with a simpler product to learn the business, or with a more demanding product in a category that I can build a brand around? So both. The reason I'm saying that is you want a simpler product. The simpler a product is, the easier it's going to be for you. But you still have to be able to build a brand around that product. I mean, you're not necessarily building a brand around that product. That's your number one main product. But you're going to build a brand of related products to that product. If it is a really simple product, then the odds are your second or third product might be the huge one. It's difficult to tell. But yes, you want to choose something simple to learn the tricks and intricacies of the business. You're absolutely spot on. But at the same time, if you're going to launch a product, you might as well launch one that you are going to build a brand with. I hope that makes sense. And don't worry about a category. Look at products specifically. Don't worry about a category being more difficult. At the end of the day, that's what BSR and all the ASM criteria help you with. Gwen, we are using both Managed by Stats and another tool, and note that MBS is the tool used with ASM11. Should we stick with MBS and pause our other account to save expenses? While both tools are great and do mostly the same, at times there are considerable differences, in particular with keyword ranking, causing some confusion. So that's a decision you have to make for yourself. Managed by Stats is catching up with everyone else when it's, first of all, it's the best product selection tool out there. The keyword tool is getting better and better. We're constantly improving it. Dan and I have weekly meetings with them on stuff we want to be added, and they're adding it. If there's something specific you like about that other tool, then hang on to it. Personally, it depends. I don't know what plan you've got. I know it could be like $100 or more a month. I wouldn't be spending that if I had Managed by Stats. My personal opinion. But it's up to you. It's a business decision you have to make, and a lot of it depends on your budget. Sharon Cho 80. I found a great potential. Wow, this is a long question. Let me prepare. I found a great potential product, and it was giving me really good profit margin, and it was low in competition with low reviews for PP and CPs. So I decided that this would be the product and started looking at I've just seen a word jump out to me that says patent. Looking at a competitor's website, did a patent search, and I found a patent on this product for the competing product. But I can't quite understand if she patented the product material or the shape of it. Okay, so there's a bunch more information here, but now that I've read it out, do you know what the answer is going to be? Because First of all, huge disclaimer, I can't give you advice on patents. I certainly can't give you advice on patents by just what you're telling me. And you summed it up with the line, where is it? I can't quite understand if she patented the product material or the shape. The only person who can understand is a patent attorney. If you really love this product and like looking at the numbers and well, not numbers, but looking at what you're saying, it does sound an awesome opportunity, then you have to make the decision whether it's going to be worthwhile for you to have a patent attorney look at it. It's not going to cost you a fortune. You know, at the end of the day, that's what they go to school for and college for and all that kind of stuff. And they should be able to give you a pretty quick answer. It shouldn't be too expensive. If you're determined that that product could be great, and by the sounds of it, it sounds like a great product, you're going to need to get an attorney to give you that opinion, because that's what they're there for. And even if I knew what the product was, I still couldn't advise you. My answer would still be the same, that, you know, I could guess, but that's all it is. It would be no better a guess than you could give, really. Patents are for lawyers. There you go. That's my favorite new saying. I know that probably doesn't help, but that's the way you've got to go. Tinku, in MBS Retriever, I sometimes get a lot of products with no BSR sales reviews data. Should we ignore these sellers or regard this product as highly competitive, even with the missing data from many sellers? So two different things here. If the data is missing, and when you look at the listing, in other words, you open the listing up to double check, and it hasn't got a BSR in one of the top level categories we give you, then that's why it's not giving you all that info. Basically, Amazon are messing around with this right now. But sometimes after you've used it a lot, well, not after you've used the tool a lot, but if you do a lot of searches on Amazon, they'll start restricting things for a while, and that can also cause some products not to show. So if you open that listing and it's got all the data there, then fill it in, and then maybe come back the next day and look. Whether, like, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to make a gut decision. If you're running a competing product search, and say out of the top 20, that are all related, you know, they are proper competing products, and like 10 of them don't have any data, then yes, that would worry me a little bit, because I wouldn't totally be sure. But if it's 2 or 3, I'd be less worried. I mean, you should be able to see the BSR at least, and that will give you an idea. But yeah, as a general rule of thumb, if there's only a few of them, then yeah, you can discount them. I'm not going to say ignore them. So my last question, then we got some really fun stuff to do. So Mark Graham 77, excuse me. I've selected my first profitable product. Boom. And look at how you described it. Your first profitable product. That's awesome. And I've requested cost for 3 samples from different suppliers. The product meets the ASM criteria and has a good profit margin. Awesome. The competing product does come with color variations though. If I've selected the best selling color, is this still a recommended choice? Also, should I request ASM sourcing now? So if it's, I really should do a video on this, because I seem to like be answering the question every week, and it's not your fault, it's my fault. But if it's a case that not all of the products have a bunch of variations, then it's less of an issue. But also, even if they do, and they show different BSRs, and you know what the best color is, and that matches the others, then you're fine. Like, we're not saying you cannot choose a product that has variations. We're saying not to choose a product where virtually all of the products have variations, multiple variations, and you can't determine which is the best. You know, in this case, it sounds like you can, because you said, if I've selected the best selling color, is this still a recommended choice? Then the answer is yes. And then you say, should I request ASM sourcing now in parallel with my, I mean, if you think you're going to go ahead with this product, then yes, use ASM sourcing. It's there. Basically, what you've done is you've done exactly what you're meant to do. You've narrowed it down. You've got your best product and your best 3 suppliers for that product, and you're requesting, lost it, samples for it. At that point, go and use the ASM sourcing bonus too. There's no point in holding back. You know, it's like, go get it. Let's see what comes up. So that was the last question. I feel my voice getting worse and worse, but let me go back to our little agenda here. And we have two more things to do. The first one is the community helpers. So I'll get that out of the way first. Not that it's a menial thing for us to get rid of, but we want to leave the big prize draw to last. Keep you all on tenterhooks. I don't even know, where does that come from? Tenterhooks. Yeah. Anyway, the community helpers. You all know what this is all about. I won't waste any time. I've got 6 names. So the first 3 names, awesome job. Thank you so much for helping out, encouraging people. You're all going to get community helper badge. Sorry, no, you're not. I really need sleep. So thank you so much for helping. You know, you've done an awesome, you know what the hell? You're all getting community helper badges. I said it, you're getting them. And then, so these 3 names are Zura, me, I think you already might have one, Tinkook, Ivan _ Nelly. So you're all getting a community helper badge. And the next 2 are 2, or as well, B, Spiro, and Max Malchef. You're all getting community helper badges. But this week's winner, and I did allude to it earlier if you were paying attention, is Biz Roberts PI. Awesome job, doing absolutely amazing in the community. And you not only do you get your community helper badge, but you also get an extra 30-minute mentor call. So whichever mentor you get, you're going to get an extra call with them. And Steve Hamlet's just requested he wants to do your calls because he thinks you're awesome. So community helper, that's that done. So now this is going to be very hit and miss, especially as Dan hasn't done this before. It shouldn't be an issue, but Dan, are you going to share your screen and bring up the random number generator, and then we're going to see what the hell happens. So while he's doing that, I'm going to explain what's going to happen. So each comment has actually got a number. So in the Y thread, we're going to go through it. Dan's going to pick a random number. Well, he's going to use a random number generator, which you can see right there once I give him the min max. And then he's going to hit the button. And whatever number that is, we're going to check the comments. Yes, it's complicated. And that person will win whatever prize we're giving away for that one. Okay. Now, to win it, I've said this 3 or 4 times on different calls and in posts. You must have posted your Y image and a little bit. I'll let you off if you haven't put text and you've just put a photo, as long as it's evocative of your Y. And you must be an ASM11 member, because obviously we've done this for ASM10 before, we've done it for ASM9 before. So it's just for ASM11. So we could be here a while if Dan's no good at hitting the random number generator in such a way as he brings up the right ones. Mike was awesome at it. Just saying, Dan.
No pressure.
But let me, actually, I've now got to minimize your screen because I can't see mine. And let me find the Y thread. Okay, so we are going from, let me just check, because I'm pretty sure mine is 2. So the highest number is going to be 243. And the lowest one, pretty sure is going to be 2, but let me double check. Change. Oh, hold on a sec. Did I do anything yet? My computer's not playing. Aha. Okay, we're in. So do it from 2 to whatever that big number was I gave you to start with.
3. Right, we ready?
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll. I don't know, how do we do?
224.
224. Wow. Alrighty, so I'm going to go to it. I'm going to put /224. Cross your fingers, everyone. And we have a proper winner. Look at that. First time up. Awesome job. So we're doing this in reverse order. So you're winning the 5th prize. The 5th prize and the 4th prize and the 3rd prize is a free ticket to Celicon in Austin, which is a huge Celicon event. And you've won a free ticket. And that's going to be the same price as 5th, 4th, and 3rd. And you are Pachot, P-A-C-H-O-T. Your Y is your family. You've posted a lovely picture of your family. And I can confirm you're ASM11. So that's perfect. Can one of the mentors write these names down? Because I am definitely going to botch this up. So that's our first one. So Dan, let's hit this button again. See if we can get 2 for 2.
Ready? Second drum roll. 104.
104. Righty ho. 104, return. You've done it again. You're better than Mike.
It's that magic touch.
So you've also, this person has also won a free ticket to Celicon, and I'm going to go for Jerry Romisha. So that's J. If one of the mentors is writing this down, Jeriromesha. Jerry Romisha. So you've won. Your why is to provide financial stability, freedom from worry about getting a new job. And you posted a lovely picture of your kids and another one of, I think it's a ranch. Beautiful pictures. So you've won the 4th prize. So now we're doing the 3rd prize, which again is a free ticket to Celicon. Come on, Dan, 3 for 3. You can do it, dude.
Go. 180.
Oh, 180.
It feels like bingo, doesn't it?
Darts, mate, darts.
Darts.
You had a very sheltered upbringing. Oh, look at that. You got 3 for 3.
There you go.
Karina Scheineman, I recognize your name. You've asked questions before. So Karina Scheineman, you have won a free ticket to Celicon 2. And yes, you're ASM11. We joined ASM together so we can move mountains. Cool. Our why is to be our own bosses. Fantastic, fantastic why. So now, before we do the next one, don't get carried away. The next one, so you get, so this is the 2nd prize. The 2nd prize wins VIP ticket. So basically what that is a ticket to Celicon, but you also get all the networking lunches free as well. So that means you can come and join all the mentors who'll be at these lunches. So you can come and you have lunch with us every day. You basically join everyone else. It's a big, it's a big room with a ton of tables and everyone gets to sit with each other. And you get to network and eat, which is always a good thing. So 1 second. Ready, Dan?
Yeah, let's go. 5.
5. What row? This could be a mentor. Well, I told the mentors to post, so this could be a mentor because it's quite early. No, mentors, you don't win this. Boom. Oh, this is awesome. So this member, it's not a mentor. This member has been so active since the start, so this is truly awesome.
Is that 4 for 4, is it?
Yeah, 4 for 4, dude. You're impressive. So it's Falcon Larap. You've won a VIP ticket to Celicon. Congratulations. By the way, we will get hold of you all if you don't happen to be on the call live. Yeah, I just got a spam call. I'll just turn that off. It was actually Mike McClary. But anyway, so you won the 2nd prize. Awesome job. Your why, to be able to move back to my, to be able to move back to my unemployment-ridden hometown and enjoy my dad after 5 open heart surgeries last year. So that's awesome. You want to be able to go and spend time with your dad. You've not only done that by posting this why, and you're going to achieve that, but also you've won the 2nd prize of a VIP ticket. VIP ticket. Oh my God, I've done it again.
VIP
ticket to Celicon. Awesome. Right. So we're going to go one more. So before we do it, just have to clarify. You know all the rules by now because this is a biggie. Because not only do you win for the 1st prize, you win a VIP ticket to Celicon, you also get to have 2 30-minute coaching calls with the one and only Jason Katzenbach. He no longer does this for anyone else. I've got the mentors in here posting the numbers of their posts. You can't win. So, sorry, they're making me laugh a lot. You can't put a price on this. At the end of the day, Jason no longer does this kind of thing. He doesn't do one-on-one coaching, but he jumped at the idea to make this a super, super impactful prize for you all. Well, for the one person who's going to win this. So, Dan, major pressure here, dude. We need 5 for 5. So you ready?
Yeah, no pressure. Magic touch. 25.
Haha, Steve, you didn't win. 25. So 2, 5, return. Come on, please.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. Never done this before. Trust me, this has never happened. We always either get a comment. I'm just going to blather on now for a while everyone's sitting there going, oh, have I won? But it's either a comment or it's not ASM11 or there's something else, but absolutely spot on again. So the winner I hope you're on this call listening. If you're not, I hope you see the replay. If not, we'll send you an email. The winner is Lehcar, Lehcar. And here's why I joined ASM. And one reason wasn't enough for her. So I can stop worrying about where my next paycheck will come from. So I can finally afford to invest in rental properties. So I don't have to worry about number one up there, being the paychecks. So I can finally build my own house, and so I can go on vacation to everywhere on my bucket list. So a lot of them there. And you've got to put the picture of a really, really nice house too. So you've won. So not only do you get a VIP ticket, you also get 2 30-minute calls with Jason. And we'll figure all that out for you, when you're going to take them, etc. But awesome job, everyone. For those of you that didn't win, we'll probably do this again, maybe in a month's time. Obviously not 5 prizes again, but maybe we'll throw away a couple, because it's so important that you do this, and do go and look at this thread, go through it. In fact, check that I wasn't cheating, but go through it and actually look at all these whys, because there's some absolutely fabulous ones in there. And I do want to pick out one in particular. The reason I didn't do this before is in case he thought he'd won, and I didn't want that to happen. Maybe he'll win next time. But this is for Peter Rucho, because he probably came up with one of the funniest comments I've ever seen. And it might be my sense of humor, I'm not sure. You tell me. But basically, he gave his why, and it was an awesome in-depth why with photographs. And then at the end, he went, in the words of Mel Gibson as William Wallace, freedom. And then afterwards, obviously thought about it and said, actually, that was probably a poor person to quote, because I believe he was captured and executed. But you get the idea. Loved it. It made me laugh a lot. You can ask the mentors, because I read it during this call, and I was killing myself laughing. But awesome job. And maybe you'll win next week. But I think that's all we've got. So Dan, because my voice is just about to give up completely, do you want to close out for us? I don't think.
Yeah, sure.
Major announcements.
Yeah, cool. So thank you for all of the mentors in the background. Tracy, Elaine, Steve, and everyone else that's supporting the call and running the call. Thank you guys for turning up. It is the effort for showing up on the call that really does count. That momentum behind your work, clarifying, hearing the answers to other people's questions you may not have thought of is also very helpful. And we hope to see you again next week. Thank you to you, Rich, for doing an awesome job again, dude. And as we said, Module 7 releases tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central, I believe. So dive into that tomorrow. Even if you're not there yet, get through Module 6, go through Module 7, but obviously focus on your immediate actions to do what you need to do to move forward in the program. And as always, use the community to get those questions answered. Be as detailed as possible when posting those questions. But the better the question, the better the answer. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I believe we're done, Rich, aren't we?
I think we're done. So yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you all next week.
Cheers, guys. See you then.